Hello peoples, back tier list. So, last time we left off with the PBZ1 plant tier list, which was actually pretty long, to be honest. I don't know how long because the video hasn't actually been uploaded yet, as of right now. But I can guarantee it might have been the longest video I've probably done on this channel so far. Who knows? Maybe there's even longer videos. Maybe there's clip complications. Who knows? Here's our tiers. We got weak, shiz, okay, decent, strongly good, powerful. Let's get straight into it. First up, we got backup dancer, which is only like playable against like Disco Zombie when Disco Zombie gets on the field, which makes this weak. And well, it has the name, same health as a brown coat, so yeah. Balloon Zombie. Now, Balloon Zombie, this was very debatable. On one hand, I want to put him in this tier, like strongly good. But then, on the other hand, I wanted to put him in this tier. But let me explain why. If I want to put him in the strongly good tier because, well, jeez, man, like, can just go past your entire board without you noticing. And, well, it's just really good. You only have a couple plants to actually counter him. But then in reality, when Cactus pops a balloon, he's basically just a slowed version of the basic zombie. Possibly the flag zombie, to be fair. But in reality, Balloon Zombie really is just practically just a zombie that can float and none of the plants can really reach him. He's very weak, to be fair. That's that. Next, we got Ducktube. Now, Ducktube has multiple variants, but this is just Ducktube Zombie. The variants probably would have been the same ones as these, of course, but these are just the water type zombies, basically going inside of the pool and basically the pool only. Nothing else, and well, that's that. He's basically just an all brown coat. So. Imp is very weak, but also could be very helpful against the Gargantuar as his limit here. See, the Gargantuar, whenever the Gargantuar gets to half health, or I guess to get going in this case scenario, maybe 2/3 of the health, one good go. Basically, the Imp gets thrown, but Imp gets thrown far back into depending on what Gargantuar's spot is. Imp can be thrown all the way to the lawnmower, which costs you a lawnmower in that one lane. Even though it took out the Gargantuar already, it still costs you a lane. But it's basically like that, though. I mean, I don't know. Imp's just very weak. He's weaker than Zombie, than the basic zombie. He's legit weaker than the basic zombie. That's the sad part. I don't know. Imp just deserves to be in this tier. Next up, we got Target Zombie. All this man does is stand there and wait until the plants shoot him. Does nothing. He's very, like, he maybe has the same health as a newspapers zombie, possibly. But also has possibly have the same health as a Conehead. But even though he has a health, he does nothing. He can't eat the plants. All he really is just a zombie that to be hit from the targets is a loss, so there you go. On to our okay tier. We got Conehead, where a lot of people like to fantasize this from. Plus, here's Coney. But Conehead zombie here, he honestly, I don't know. He is very like strong, big due to the cone on his head somehow, and that really is the only thing that makes him special, which makes him okay and not weak. Because at least like a pea shooter can't really deal with him very well without just like him by himself. We ignore that. Alright. Next up, we got Flag Zombie. Now, why is Flag Zombie an okay and not weak shiz? Well, it's simple. He moves fast, and he at least has a little bit more health, a tiny bit, maybe like 6% more health than the actual zombie here. Alright, he has like 6% less than the actual zombie, not less, more than the actual zombie here, which makes him actually pretty good. At first I thought he was the same health as Conehead, but then it wouldn't make sense because he doesn't have anything protecting him. The flag is kind of just there to show that there's a huge wave of zombies approaching. Now in versus mode, this man is definitely probably somewhat near like decent tier, or probably the same tier as this. Okay, because even though he costs 300 brains, he kind of serves you a lot. Like when you get a lot of brains during the battle, you can just spam this when sudden death hits, and you basically have an actual horde of zombies. Almost as if this was survival endless rather than versus. But in the basic gameplay, this man is kind of just 6% more health than the brown coat zombie, but also because he also has some faster speed than the zombies we had already. Next up is we got just Jack in the Box zombie. Jack in the Box zombie is pretty decent. He explodes plants in an area, but he isn't that good. Alright, you might just plant like a row of puff shrooms in the front lines, but you have gallon peas in the front and like back lines, and like tall nuts or pumpkin inside of the middle lanes with gloom shrooms on them and all that crap. Like the man doesn't like if we just plant some weak ones in the front lines and then wait until Jack in the Box explodes, he's just dumb. Not very good. He's just dumb. Nothing else really. Next up we got is Jalapeno Zombotany. For those who don't know, this appeared in Zombotany 2 as a minigame. This guy is basically, has like what, maybe the health of a normal Bronco, possibly a flag, or possibly a Conehead. But either way though, it wouldn't matter about the health this man has, because this man basically just works as Jalapeno, explodes in a lane. The only problem about this guy though is the fact that, well, how to say this, like, hold on, like, he can't necessarily, so he's a ticking time bomb. Like, he's a ticking time bomb, because when he first enters the field, nothing really happens. He's just kind of there, just kind of like scare you off at first, and then when you destroy him, he looks like nothing anymore. But if you don't have that much of a good defense in one of the rows, then he actually lets the row up. Jalapeno Zombie just isn't good. Like, this man's like taking time bomb thing doesn't look like it works well. Like, maybe he could make it like Jack in the Box Zombie, like where sometimes if Jack in the Box Zombie actually hits one plant, at least a plant, then he explodes. Maybe that could have happened like if Jalapeno Zombie hit a plant, it would have exploded. Because, you know, there's some strategies that contain some plants being in the front lines, so maybe that could have worked out better. But I guess this is how it is. Next we got Newspaper. Newspaper is practically just a Conehead zombie, but a little like 10% weaker, but also with some gained super speed when the Newspaper is destroyed. Nothing else new about him though. Next up is Pea Shooter or Zombotany, aka Zombotany. Legit just gonna be called Zombotany because, well, first one anyways. Basically this is a brown coat zombie, but has pea shooting towards these plants. That's practically what this man is. There's a guy that shoots peas forwards at plants, but also has the same health as a brown coat zombie. Next up, we've got Snorkel Zombie. Snorkel Zombie is pretty decent. I mean, the man legit hides underwater, and, well, the plants can hit him. He's just under there, at least until he goes out the water to munch something, because, well, the lily pads are a lot taller than him when he's underwater. But when he gets out the water, by the chance there's either a squash right there who's going to squash him behind him, or, you know, trying to keep the game fair and balanced now. This man has the same health as a normal brown coat. He only appears in pool. He's not that great. Okay, next up we got Trash Can Zombie. Trash Can Zombie appears 2 times in a game. One will be in one of the survivals, and then the other would be in versus mode. In the one of survivals, he's basically a brown coat, but he's got a newspaper zombie, something to protect him with. Is very armed, pretty much like a buckethead possibly. But when he gets destroyed, it just becomes a normal brown coat zombie. In versus mode, however, this man is a 50 cost bring a zombie here, but he moves very slow. And what I mean by very slow is that it's probably gonna take him 15 seconds just to get off one tile. 15 seconds to get off of one tile. And practically he is still technically the metal shield, except he's, just very slow. Overall, he would have been a lot more better than, like, I don't know how, I don't even know why this guy exists, but I guess he does. Next up we have is, even though it shows one here, the bot sled team, one of them by themselves is just a brown coat, so it would technically be in this tier. But that ain't the case today. Because this man has 4 as a team. And that's good, but not quite good. So you're all still basically brown coats, except there's 4 brown coats in a lane is what these guys are. They're also incredibly slow, but also fast sometimes for the oddest reason. Also, these guys only appear when the Zomboni plants its ice trail. So basically, you can appear on the field, and once they start sliding on to their little boat thingamabobber, they're probably done by then because there's no ice. So yeah, this is this tier. Explaining the fastest way possible. Next up we got Buckethead. Buckethead, you can deny, he is very powerful, especially even like later in the game when they spam it with like 3 in the same row, or like Dr. Zomboss just spams you with Bucketheads into like the 3rd phase or something like that. But basically, Zomboss is supposedly supposed to be a it's like, I don't know. Zomboss like throws them down on different lanes, but you have to deal with Cabbage Pole, Criminal Pole, and Melon Pole. But in zombies in general, this guy is not too bad. He's very powerful, that's for sure. But he doesn't have any other ability but just to be a guy with an armored helmet. Next up we have is Basketball Zombie, or Catapult Zombie to be specific. This guy just loves some basketballs in the back of your plants and easily gets countered by Umbrella Leaf. This man kind of sucks when that happens. Although he's very good, but not good enough when all he does is go for the back lines. He's basically just going for your sunflowers and not your main attacking plants. He's mostly just going for that. Now the back lines ain't bad, don't get me wrong. Like, you can't generate any dynamic sun anymore. But is it really all too good? Nah, because they still have to deal with an entire defense, maybe like a row of Gatling piece to deal with, even though the sunflowers are stored in the back. But Catapult Zombie is good overall, but he's countered with a lot of things and it makes him look like a worse zombie. Next up is Disco Zombie. See, Disco Zombie could have been okay, but he's actually pretty decent if you think about it. Like, Disco Zombie like defends himself by summoning zombies. Well, the backup dancers to be specific. As we all know, the backup dancers are basically just zombies. So, in a way, is this really worth this? No, Disco actually like summons them. The one behind him doesn't do anything much aside from Squash being sacrificed for them. Sometimes the AI kind of goes for the backup dancer and the backup Disco than Disco himself. The backup, then the backup dancer, tongue twister there. It's actually supposed to be, I guess he's supposed to be like the backup plan because he's in a bag, meaning he can't really get hit. Only the 2 backup dancers on the top and bottom, and then the one in front of Disco. Well, one top, one bottom, specific, not bad. But that is basically what this kind of is. He's kind of like, his backup dancers are like the supporters, while he's technically the main stag. It's like backup dancers are like the brawls and, you know, that crap. But yeah, next up is Digger Zombie, or most people call him Miner Zombie. You know, not that type for dirty-minded people. But Miner Zombie, or Digger Zombie, this man goes backwards and eats your plants backwards. Now that's a good strategy. However, there's not an actual way for him to eat the brains in that way. He's more of a distraction, really, which makes you like waste certain plants on this one dude who's just eating your defenses in the back. Of course, Split Pea exists, but why would you just need Split Pea just for this one dude? I mean, Split Pea could have been a lot more better. Maybe going for like Poke Roaches in the back, for example. But yeah, Digger Zombie is very good overall, but not too powerful. He has the same length as a Conehead, but like 20% less. And he's very slow because, well, being a fat zombie that's eating plants, I don't know about that. That would have to be the OP zombie. Well, aside from Gargantuar. Next up, we have is Dolphin Rider Zombie. This one has a big struggle with Zombie in pool levels and fog levels too. Basically, this dude just jumps forward above the plants and starts eating them like crazy. Like, this man just goes by so fast, you almost have no time to react to him, which makes him very good, despite him still being, you know, around cold, sort of. Basically, this man actually is pretty good, but he has high speed. He's basically Pole Vulture, but if he was on a pole. And of course, he actually eats pretty faster than the average zombie. He eats like at the 5% more speed, basically. Yeah. Next up, we have is Ladder Zombie. Ladder Zombie places ladders on like defensive plants. Basically, tall nut, walnut, pumpkins. That's really all you can think of. Every other plant, I mean, it's safe from Ladder Zombie because they're not really defensive or pretty big, so for the ladder to be placed on. But yeah, Ladder Zombie is basically a screen door zombie in a way. But well, at least that is until he plants the ladder on top of the tall nut or walnut. Then that happens. Next up, we have is Pogo Zombie. This man jumps over plants, but that's all he really does. And like until Magnitude kind of takes his Pogo away, it's practically just nothing else really. I mean, he's a fast brown coat zombie. He's very fast paced, like, cause you know pogoing is basically a sport somehow. So basically, you know, him being fast, you know, that's the key. I think it's a good idea, good detail, small little detail. Next up we have is Pole Vulture Zombie, and basically he's what I've been explaining with other zombies. Man jumps over your plants and he eats them. Although this guy has a lot of plot armor, to be fair. Like, this man encrypted plot armor this time, unlike the others being like round codes. He basically is like a Conehead zombie, but this time only with 2% less. He's practically still a Conehead. We just can't tell when he's really low or not. Because, you know, Cone and Buckethead zombies, they have, like the Cone kind of falls off and so is the Bucket. But Pole Vulture, we see none of that. Like, his Pole Vulture already gets used because he, like, either dies so early before he jumps over a plane, or he jumps over a plane already. Or jumped over a plane already, would be the correct English here. But Pole Vulture, he really is good overall. He is a very powerful zombie too. If jumping was his only ability, he's just an okay, alright? But due to the fact that they gave him some extra armor while at it, yeah, nah, this man deserves to be in this tier. Next up we got is Screen Door Zombie. Basically, like I said, with Ladder Zombie, just pretty much a shield until Magnitude takes it away to become a brown coat zombie. That's pretty much all it is. It also gets countered by Fume Shroom because Fume Shroom goes through things. So Ladder Zombie, okay, so Disco, ladder, possibly Pogo, and the screen door here get countered by Fume Trim because they go through. The fumes go through them, so basically it's gonna be hitting them a lot. Alright, and that's basically screen door for you. Next up we got is Walnut Zombotany. And basically this is just the Zombotany but as a walnut this time. Now this is insanely good because, well, I mean, think about it. This is like a great combo with all the other Zombotanies. Maybe even the other zombies, to be fair. I mean, Walnut, the freaking Gatling P, Walnut, and Zombotany here, over here. Got Buckethead in the back, too. Possibly even this works, too. But think about it. Catapult Zombie and Walnut Zombotany. That'd be a good combo. But yeah, Walnut Zombie is basically just Walnut, but as a zombie. It takes extra toughness due to the fact that he's a zombie now, so there. Next up we have is Zomboni, the guy who creates an ice trail for the bobsled team to come in and ruin the day. It also crushes over your plants. He is very tough because it is Zomboni, but also is very easy to deal with by the insta-kill plants like Squash, Cherry Bomb, Jalapeno. And yeah, Jalapeno is more likely worth it, of course, because you know, this man just burns the ice trail because it burns the entire lane. And that's basically Zomboni. He's very good because he can squish plants and he has higher armor, most likely higher than Buckethead, to be fair. Next up, we're on the strongly good tier. So first up, we got Bungee Zombie. This man's insanely good because not only does it take a lot of damage to actually kill, but this man actually just steals your plant and just goes off without it. Right, and it's completely random too. Possibly a chance you can steal your Doom Shroom before it even lights itself up. And that actually happened to me before, and that's sad. But this man is just insanely good. He's just taking your plants. It's possible for him to die, but it's pretty hard to. Depends on where it goes. Excuse me. But anyway. Next up we got All-Star. All-Star is very fast and also in the speed of like toughness because the man has plot armor, football armor to be specific. Of course, he has metal here on his, basically in front of his little helmet here, meaning Magnus can counter him by taking off the helmet and making him into a brown coat zombie again. And that's what makes this dude pretty good. But even though he technically gets countered by Magnesium, All-Star actually does something very well, including when there's multiple in a row. I mean, come on now. Next up we have is Gargantuar. Gargantuar is a tough zombie. He is very tough. He almost feels like a mini boss, to be fair. So first off, when he gets to half health, he throws his imp wherever farther away from like 6 blocks from where he is. He can possibly set up his imp to set up a lawnmower, so mow all the zombies. But this man also just one-taps your plants. He basically smashes them with a little pole, or a zombie, or signpost. He has different little things here to replace on his arm. But basically, Gargantuar is just so big, so OP, it's almost not even funny anymore, man. But next up, though, we do got I'm supposed to pronounce them. I'm just gonna pronounce them Gatling Zombotany, I guess, because you know it's a Gatling P. People gave him multiple names, but I'll just name him Gatling Zombotany for this video. But yeah, Gatling Zombotany here. It's Gatling P for free too. It's just a free Gatling P that is enters the field, shooting at your plants 4 times. And like, dang, it's gonna wipe out your defenses easily too. Because like I said, the Walnut and Gatling P combo, that is very good if you don't have a Squash to deal with this, or a Jalapeno, to be fair. I don't know, man. Next up we got is Squash Zombie. Now this isn't as strong. He I don't know how much health he has, to be fair. Maybe like a cone head, possibly. But this is basically Squash and behaves exactly like Squash. Basically squishing the zombie. Well, in this case, squishing the plant. He's basically squishing the plant, sacrificing his own body to just squish the plant. For dumbest reason's sake, I guess. I mean, the plant might not even be important, but it might be important. Like, for example, you might lose a garlic, but it might not be that important to you. But then you actually end up losing the Doomsday that you were supposed to save for earlier, and, well, it's gone. Or the Gatling Pea, the Twin Sunflower. Could be whatever. But he basically behaves like a squash and be treated by a squash. Next up, we got Tona Zombotany. And basically, he is a very strong zombie. Probably the health of a Gargantuar. Maybe it is a Gargantuar, but without the imp. Possibly. But this dude is basically very tall, and he kind of has the same speed, except he has -5 speed because, you know, his head is very tall than his body. So they have to like make his speed a little slow because of how tall his body is. But yeah, that is Tona Zombotany. Basically, yeah, of course he's 2 times stronger than the actual Walnut Zombotany. So there you go. Next up is Yeti. So if you've been a fan of this franchise for long enough, you know that Yeti turned out to be an annoying boss inside of the third-person shooter games, of course. I'm talking about Garden Warfare 1, Garden Warfare 2, and possibly BFN. But in PvZ 1 and PvZ 2, he just walks in the field for like a split half of a second almost, and then he goes backwards just to go out. This man's very rare to get in PvZ 2, although in PvZ 1, you need to replay the entirety of Adventure Mode again, and get to Fog in order to actually kill this man, so you can get his secret over here. He's very strong, as a matter of fact, actually. He's probably almost as strong as the freaking jockey over here. That's something, right? But that's actually what Yeti really does. I mean, he does nothing, but just walks and wanders around, then goes backwards, and then, well, yeah, quits from there. Next up is Black All-Star, but it's mostly been known to be like what? In the third-person shooter games, this guy's been known as Blitzer, so I guess it's best to call him Blitzer. But Blitzer, this man is pretty much has the health of a Gargantuar. It's only seen inside of the Flash, or I guess the demo build of PvZ 1. And this man has been removed from the final game because I guess this man is was supposed to be the replacement of Gargantuar in the Flash version, but in the full version, it's just Gargantuar now, a big dude. It makes a lot of sense. Basically, this is kind of just a recolor of All-Star, to be fair. Okay, but next up we have our powerful tier. First up, we have Giga Gargantuar, which practically only appears in Endless mode. Survival Endless mode. Possibly in the other Endless mode, but not Hard mode. But this dude is basically an extra pack of health and with red eyes. It can easily smash your plants. You know? And, well, yeah, that's pretty much a Gargantuar, but with, again, an extra pack of health, so you actually have to do, like, a lot more insta-kill plants than 2, like 2 squashes. That ain't gonna be enough for this guy. You take a squash, you ain't gonna throw the imp, because that ain't enough for him. You put a second squash, then he's gonna throw the imp, and then you're gonna be forced to cherry bomb him. Then he's finally dead. This man takes a lot of hits to kill. It's almost nearly impossible to kill if you don't have the right defenses up for this dude. Next up, second to last one, would be Dr. Zomboss. Dr. Zamos is so powerful. You know what? He had the Zombot, and you know what? That's the only thing he's done in this entire game. Pull out the Zombot, and concede by raising the flag. But yeah, that's actually, yeah, this is Zamos. He just put fireballs, ice balls, Dave's RB for some odd reason. Bungie stomps on your plants, put the zombies down, and yeah, practically that. And then lastly, we have the most OPest zombie of all, Zombie. Okay, clearly if this wasn't obvious enough, this is a joke. I mean, but hey, who said the jokes was allowed? Let's be real here. He is number one in little weak shiz. But just to go for the memes here, I'm gonna put him in powerful. The most number one powerful zombie, more powerful than Zomboss, the leader of the zombies, would be Zombie. So, let me know what you guys actually think about this tier list. Aside from this, we already know a zombie is just supposed to be some random joke, of course. But when you think about all of this, though, I mean, it's a pretty obvious Zomboss is gonna be up here. I mean, he really is, well, a boss, and the fact that he has a big giant robot. What if he was by himself? He's definitely going a week because, you know, this man doesn't look like he can stand up against Dave in an actual fight, with a fist fight to be specific. But yeah, next up we're gonna be doing some GW2 tier lists, since I've done 2 different PvZ1 tier lists. Let me know what other tier lists y'all actually do have in mind, though, if y'all like.